Hey everybody, I'm here with Emma. She was a Little Mo champion. She was a professional tennis player. She played doubles with Ashla Tomljanovic. I don't know if I said that right.
Ayla.
Ayla,
Yes.
sorry. Um, and doubles champions at the Little Mo. How's your experience coming to the States the first time? Being a little girl as a tennis player, how did you feel coming to play a tennis tournament here in the States?
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me here, and I'm really excited to share my experience today. So, when I was 9 years old, I played this tournament in Croatia. It's called Smrikva Ball. I don't know if you heard about it, but it's like 10 and under, and all of the best kids, I would say, from Europe play the tournament. It's really, really big. And the winner and the runner up get to go to America to play Little Mo and to represent Europe. And at the time, I lost in the semifinals and I won third place. So I played for the third place and I won the third place. So I was really sad that I don't get to go. I Love won the first place, and this girl from Italy, she won the second place. And then maybe like a week before, um, they were supposed to go, they call me and they say that this girl got injured, the Italian girl, and if because I'm the third one, if I wanted to go. I was like, of course. So me and my dad and Isla and her dad, we got to go to Texas and we played there. And it was, I mean, it was an amazing experience for somebody that's from a really small country. It's an undeveloped country. Tennis was not really popular, to go and to have that opportunity to play. Isla and I played there and we won. It was an amazing organization. I remember we were staying in housing with this one really nice family. We literally had the best. I had the best week of my life, I feel like, and my dad too, Isla and her dad. Um, we really felt like home, and then the everybody welcomed us really nice, and we played great. So we won that. Um, I came home, and that's where kind of like my tennis became my life after that tournament. It was I won this big tournament in America. I got back home with this big trophy that you get to keep. I think I don't remember if it was like 1 month or 3 months, but I remember going to school and bringing the big trophy to my to the school and to my class, and all the kids and the teacher, they were so excited. They were like all carrying me. It was the cutest thing ever. And after that, I just focused on tennis 100%. So that really pushed that experience with Little Mo, pushed me to go further, to see all these possibilities and everything, to be the best tennis player that I can be.
That's great. And so how was the rest of your junior career after the Little Mo? What tournaments did you play?
So after that, I competed mostly, like, you go 10 and under, then 12, 14, 16, 18s. In Bosnia, I was a national champion under all of these categories. But because Bosnia and Herzegovina is a undeveloped country, so there was not much support from federation. So ITF had a program for kids that are from countries like this. So Bosnia, Serbia, Bulgaria, Macedonia, Romania. Um, they would pick the best players from those countries, under 14s, under 16s, and they would take us for like 4 to 6 weeks to play different tournaments around Europe. Or one time we did a South America tour. So I played all the, European Championship, all the junior tournaments. I played a lot, and thankfully I was part of the ITF team, which helped me a lot with my experience. I had great coaches there. So I played a lot of those tournaments, and under 16, I was number one player in Europe already. it really helped me a lot to develop. And then after that, when I was, I think also when I was 16, I won my first professional tournament in Spain, because at the time I was training in Spain in an academy that ITF also provided for me. So it was amazing. And then after, that's the time between 16 and 18 where you decide, okay, do you go to college or you turn pro? I tend to have a lot of injuries. So because of that, I decided to go to college. And my parents were really pushing me to go to college because, they always said school is number one. And then you focus on tennis, you can always play tennis after. So I decided, after lots of, thinking, I decided to go to Baylor University in Texas, because everything started in Texas. I really love Texas. I went to Baylor. I went there for 4 years. Um, I was top five singles and doubles NCAAs, played line one singles and doubles. My tennis experience was great. I grew a lot as a person. I matured a lot during those 4 years, but I did get burnt out from tennis, just because the amount that you play, it's a lot. And it's a lot on your body. And after that, I played professionally. But in the meantime, before college and during college, I played a little bit, few tournaments, but not so much, because just with the school, with the matches that you have in college, it's really hard to play professional tournaments as well. So then after that, I decided to play a little bit, um, because I always wanted to, pursue my professional career. I met my husband in college at Baylor, so that's why, and he lived in Wellington before, here in Florida. So that's why I moved to Wellington, because of my husband, but it was also a perfect place for tennis, right? I used to train in Delray Beach at the Pro World Academy. At the time, I trained over there with Coco, with Sofia Kenin, Naomi Osaka. We were all in the academy. Uh, Maybe I played not even a full year and a half after college. I made it to like 400 in singles, 140 in doubles. And I decided to quit. I don't know, I was not even 25. I was really burnt out, my body. I had already three surgeries, was dealing with a lot of injuries. Mentally, I was struggling a lot because I could not afford a coach to be with me on tour. So I was alone all the time, wasn't happy anymore, So I just made a decision that time. I could have played for sure another 10 years. I could play now too. But I decided to go a different route. I decided to be a coach, and I want to have a family. I have two little boys now, 3-year-old and 1-year old. Um, and now we can talk about what I do now. But I kind of tried to go really fast and skim through my career as much as possible, so I don't talk too much about it. But we can talk about the coaching stuff now,
Sure.
unless you have
Yeah.
something else.
So, Emma, now you've shifted away from being a professional. So, what are you up to nowadays?
Wow, a lot. From being a mom, number one, like I said already, running my own business, training for a marathon, a lot of things. But I mainly what I do run my own business. Um, Tennis with Emma. Everybody, please follow 1M. My website, Tennis with Emma. Social media everywhere, YouTube. I've grown my brand in the last. I mean, I've been working for 5 years, but I really grown my brand in the last 2.5 years a lot, and I'm planning to grow it even more. I work My passion is working with kids 10 and under, developing their game, developing their love for tennis. Um, so, and not really building a high performance academy, because I know what I've been through and how much I've done, and I've been through all of that. And I don't want to do that part. I have a few academies, I have a few coaches that are more for when you reach that step, okay, what do you do next? Where do you go? So for me, it's more working with like 10 and under, 12 and under, depends. Really, really working on teaching the parents, teaching the kids which paths to take, how to train, how much to train. So that's another thing. I talked about the burnout earlier. I got burnt out early on in my career because um, my parents just pushed me so much in tennis. But because they wanted the best for me, they didn't know any different at the time. There was no good player in Bosnia to give them an advice. So I was just training so much, so much. And that's why I developed a lot of injuries because it's that same motion, repetitive motion over and over again. And it was just about the quantity of the training, but not about the quality, right? Just hit balls, just go out there, hit balls, hit balls, hit balls. I'm really big on quality over quantity. What do you do? How your days look like as an 8-year-old, a 9-year-old, a 10-year-old? What you're setting some goals. Where do you want to be? You want to take the college pathway. You want to take the um, professional pathway, whatever it is. I really try to educate parents and coaches a lot on that from my own experience. I'm not saying I know the best, it's just from my own experience what I know the best. So, definitely, I would not recommend for any parent out there to push their kids too much early on because number one, you will lose love for the game as well. They will get burnt out physically because as a kid you don't really stretch so much. I wish that I stretched more. Do you stretch?
More or less.
You need to stretch. I wish that I stretched more. My dad was always on me, like, stretch, come on, reach for your toes down there. And I hated it, right? And now, if I stretched more, I would have less injuries, right? So, focusing more on these things early on in your career, because I don't know, when I was 15, 16, then yes, I focused more on it later on. But I wish that I focused on it as a 10-year-old. So those are the things. So that's what I do now. I have a lot of kids groups. Um, you know, almost every day I have kids groups here in Wellington, Florida. I do private lessons a lot. I'm doing summer camps. I'm gonna do a summer camp again this year. Um, I'm running a club here where we are right now at the Palm Beach Polo Golf and Country Club. So I'm a director here. Um, I do a lot. So I manage the club, I do events, I teach everybody. I just started this new program. It's called Little Aces from ages 3 to 7. It's a 6 week program. You can do it once or twice a week for 45 minutes. And it's basically introduction to tennis, but it's really structured. One week you introduce forehands, one week you introduce backhands. So at the end of the 6 weeks, you see if some kid needs to do it again or they can progress to the next step. So I'm developing more of those programs. I have my own podcast. So it's spelled EMA Zing, amazing. So like Emma Amazing Tennis Podcast. And I have that. I run my social media, which my brand really grew a lot throughout the years. That's a lot of work behind the scenes. And now I'm at the point where I have people that are working with me and they're helping me. So I don't have to post every day. I don't have to do that. I have people that are doing that for me now so I can focus on other things. But I love working with a 2-year-old, but I honestly love working with a 70, 80-year-old. There's this man here, he's 77 and he's amazing. His love for the game is still there. It's a beautiful sport that you can play all your life. And that's what's beautiful about it. And I really believe that for me, I was meant to be a coach. And I really, really feel it because I just love connecting with the people on the court, with the kids, with adults, and just sharing my knowledge.
So, how in your experience, how would you structure a day for a kid 8 to 12 years old?
Great question. Okay, so 8 to 12, it's a big gap. But okay, approximately. They are not homeschooled at this point. I would not do the homeschooling maybe until 12 or until they take it very, very seriously. Um, so I would, not a day, let's talk about the week. Okay. Um, I would play 5 times a week, but not too much, right? Do one or two privates maximum, and then 3 times group, or just set a match play on or hit. And those groups and privates are no longer than hour and a half, in my opinion. And but during those groups, you focus on different things. You focus on footwork. So, like one day you focus on footwork, other day you focus on a technique, third day you just do serves. So, a little bit of everything throughout the week, and then maybe play tournaments once or twice a month. I think it's important. Some parents really don't want the kids to start playing tournaments too early because um, they think it's not good for their technique, for their development. But I think it's important to have that competition as well early on. So I would do once a month minimum to play a tournament on the weekends, because these tournaments, they don't last too much. So, and then I would really do another sport, right? Not just tennis, especially under 10. So it doesn't, you, if tennis is your priority, you do something on the side. You can do track, is very good for conditioning. Soccer is very good for tennis. Swimming is very good. So those things, just so the kid, it's very important that they have fun, right? That it's structured, but it's still fun, right? You don't want to do just privates. Then the kid is every day just with a coach and training, and it gets boring. Um, or you don't want to do only groups and just doing the fun. You know, you have to have one-on-one at least 1 time a week. So I hope that
Yeah.
that helps.
Yeah. And as a coach, what would you tell kids, parents, and other coaches to focus on the most for developing juniors? Whether it be focus more on the technique, um, on the mental, on your physical, or on your tactics. Like, which four of those areas would you give the most importance to?
Maybe I can rate them.
Okay.
Great question. I'll ask you the same question. Maybe you can answer it to me. Okay, so technique comes, it's very important early on to build good habits, right? But I've been working with a lot of 5, 6, 7 year olds developing their technique. If it doesn't click in the kids in their head, right, you cannot force technique over and over again, because they lose the interest in game and the love for the game, right? So I would say technique for a coach, it's important to do it, but when you see that it clicked in their head, you know, like it click for me, it was just so obvious a few times with kids that I worked with. It's like I try doing the forehand, you know, the C shape, and I do every possible single drill to help, and I hold and do everything, but it's not clicking, it's not clicking, it's not clicking. So I stopped pushing it, right? I stopped like stressing so much about it. Then I just work on like rallying, like eye hand coordination, so they see the ball. And then when I see they're maturing a little bit, because some kids mature at 6, some at 8, some at 10, right? So it all depends on the kid. I cannot say there's no one rule. So technique is very important, but when you see that the kid is ready. So when the kid is ready and then it clicks and everything you worked on, it's gonna be fine. And then from then on, what did you say? Mental, tactics. What was the fourth one?
Physical.
Physical. What do you mean? Like footwork?
Fitness and stuff like that.
Footwork, I would say, okay, technique, physical, it's so important. I'm really big on footwork from early on, but not just footwork, you know, stretching and everything. Then I would do mental and then tactics.
Yeah.
How would you rate them 1 to 4?
Probably very similar. Maybe technique number one. Um, Maybe mental number two, and then physical and tactics at the end. Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough with an 6 or 7 or 8 year old to work on mental, but it's very important at an early age as well, meaning positive attitude, right? Staying positive in the court. I already, have kids writing notes and just that positive self-talk, right? Because we tend to be, we get upset on the court. Do you get upset on the court or no?
Yeah, sometimes. Yeah,
Sometimes.
there's. Yeah.
Good. I know
Um.
this is an interview for me, but I want to know how you are too.
So what would be the biggest piece of advice? Like the one thing from all these years of being around the tennis court. What would be like the biggest thing that you could tell kids watching, parents watching, coaches watching? What's the biggest thing that you could tell them? Like this is my biggest tip that you guys should listen to or work on.
Wow. You're really coming with some really good questions. Good job. Phew, that's a tough question. One, I mean, I don't want to sound too cheesy, but honestly, the most important thing is to have fun. And I truly mean it because everything you do, I took everything too seriously. Always. It was just like, I have to do this, I have to do this, do. I wish that I just let go and have fun and don't lose the love for the game because down the road, you don't lose the love for the game because if you have the love for the game, all those hours on the court, all those practices, they're going to be fun and they're going to be great. And you're not just thinking about the tournament and lifting that trophy because having fun day in, day out while you're grinding on the court, that's so much more important than being happy for that one moment when you win a match. That's it.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Emma, for coming on the show today, and everybody make sure to check out Emma's social media, Tennis with Emma. As you said, amazing. Her podcast and her website. She is here in Wellington, Florida, and thanks again for coming on today.
I appreciate you so much and thanks for having me. And I hope to see you sometime soon. And now let's go and play some.